Good evening, I'm Jacob Reimer. Ohio State football announced today that the spring game will be played on April 18th. Buckeye football will be back in the shoe 78 days from now. College basketball tonight in the top 25, a top 10 Big Ten tilt in East Lansing, with number 7 Michigan State hosting third-ranked Michigan, and Dayton is at number 21 St. Louis. The Ohio State basketball team returns to action tomorrow at Wisconsin at 2 o'clock. Christoph Tilley and Gabe Cupps are both listed as questionable for tomorrow's game. Both missed last game against Penn State with injuries. And only one game in the NHL tonight, which features the Columbus Blue Jackets. They're in Chicago taking on the Blackhawks. The CBJ have won 7 of their last 8 games. Face-off is at 8:30 here on The Fan. This update is sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Bring it up for Ohio State.
You've waited all day for this.
Don't let that team stand in the way. He's going to take it to the house. 85 yards. Down the right side going Devin Smith. Got it at the 5 and into the end zone. Touchdown.
The one show that's nothing but the Buckeyes.
Oh! Brad Ruckert for the touchdown. Kraft shoots it high on the right for 3.
This is the Buckeye Show.
Off and rolling here on a Friday. I'm Brandon Beam, hanging out with our Wednesday friend usually. He is Joshua Perry. We got Reimer behind the glass. JP, happy Friday to you, my friend. What's happening? Good to talk to you.
It's good to talk to you, too. I've been making my rounds on these shows. Was very excited to get in studio here with you, but you did something that people usually don't do.
Oh, no. What did I do?
You turned the mic on for me.
I know it's out of habit.
Yeah,
is that bad?
Well, no, it's not bad. I usually click my own mic on, but
You can click your own mic on if you want.
This is actually good. It felt good to just know that somebody was looking after me today.
All right, so it's interesting that you mentioned that, because years working with one Robert Carpenter, he would never turn his microphone on, and then he would start speaking into the microphone, and it would never come across. So I was always just on the microphone button for him, and it's never stopped.
That diva.
You're right. He is a big time diva. That's what everybody should know about Bob. He is a diva. So anytime that we're starting and doing a show, I will always click someone's microphone on.
So Rothman, the one day I was in with him,
he doesn't know how to work his own microphone.
Well, he was like, do you want me to turn yours on, or are you going to do it? And I'm like, that's the one thing I remember about doing this is how to turn the mic on. I want to be heard. So that was interesting because he offered, nobody else has offered, and then you just did it.
Yeah, no, I just went ahead. I didn't ask your permission for anything. I just went ahead and did it. That's what I do for everybody who's in here.
Well, I appreciate it.
If you need to cough or anything, you can turn it off yourself. I'm not controlling that, but
I love the cough button. By
I
the
will
way.
turn it. Yeah, right. I don't even. Does it work? It does.
Oh, it does.
Okay.
It's great. I use it all the time.
I've never actually pressed the cough button. Usually I just turn my microphone off. I don't think I've ever used that button before.
So I had a producer when I was doing games for the Big Ten Network, and he was like, yeah, so this is how it is. This is how you cut the mic on. This is your cough button. And then there's a talkback button that you can use to communicate with the producer during the game, let them know what replay you want, things of that nature. And he was like, please don't hit the talkback button and then cough in my ear. That's going to bother me. And so I've made sure here to hit cough and not the TB talkback button.
Yeah, you know what? Our talkback button doesn't even go into Reimer's ears. It just goes to the board, so that doesn't even work here.
He tried it yesterday as I was doing a live update, and I'm just locked in on the update and not acknowledging him.
I was trying to screw him up intentionally, and he wasn't breaking, and I'm like, man, this guy is a professional.
True pro.
And then he told me afterwards, he was like, that didn't even work, didn't even go to my headset. So that doesn't work. We got a great show lined up for you here this evening. We're with you for an hour, and then we will get you out to Chicago as the Jackets are taking on the Blackhawks. That's coming up at 8 o'clock. Ryan Day just had a radio show. We're going to hear from him in our next segment around 6:17. Your former teammate, national champion, defensive lineman, now lawyer to the stars, Michael Bennett. He's going to join us coming up here at 7:30, and then we will get into the college football pulse as we end the hour. Lots of news today on the Buckeye front. Let's get into this. It was announced, JP, that Ohio State has set a spring game date. April 18th is going to be the spring game. I would have to look back in years past. That seems like later than normal. Does it not? I don't know. I mean, we could go back and look at obviously the dates, but that seems like it's like a week later than what it should be.
Yeah, it's usually somewhere, I feel like, in the teens, maybe the early teens. I feel like maybe one year it did get kicked out into like the April 20-something range. I know they like to take the break. spring break, kind of build it around there so they can get a little bit of extra time doing it that way. So, yeah, maybe it is a little bit later, but it feels about where it needs to be in the calendar.
Yeah, so I know that last year, did they push right through spring break? Like, it was the first time where I think they had spring break and then went right into it and then had the spring game on the opposite side. So maybe I'm just misremembering. But again, if you want tickets to the spring game, they are going to go on sale starting February 20th at 10 a.m. So you can get your tickets here. What is that, 3 weeks from now? Yeah, I think 3 weeks from today. Those tickets are going to go on sale coming up here if you want to see Ohio State in the spring game. Also, news to report today, Ohio State's athletic budget came to light, brought in more money than ever before in the 2025 fiscal year, which also included the run to the College Football Playoff National Championship. Ohio State hauled in $336 million. It's the most in a fiscal year in school history, and the athletic department that is, netted almost $16 million after $320 million worth of expenses. Now, we sat here after we talked to you on Wednesday. Justin Zwick and I sat here and talked about the financial report that came in from Rutgers.
Sure.
And Rutgers, for a third year in a row, lost $70+ million. They're $500+ million, $500 million in the hole since joining the Big Ten. And Jay-Z's like, well, I don't know. I don't think Ohio State makes money athletically. I'm like, I don't think they did during COVID. I think everybody hemorrhaged during COVID. But since then, they've been kind of building out of that. And I think that is just a point to tell everyone, like, Ohio State athletics department still one of the biggest, baddest in the country, because those are monster numbers.
Yeah, it is. And I think since you brought up the Rutgers, and I'm glad you put the S back on. How long have you been doing that?
They earned it a couple of years ago when they got to the bowl game. I said it was very obvious what they had to do.
All right.
They had to either get to a bowl game or beat a top 25 opponent. And I think they did both in the same year.
So the S has been back for a little while. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
But part of this is not what they brought in revenues to me. The expenses are insane.
$320 million.
But that's how Rutgers gets itself into the type of deficit that it does. They're not spending anywhere near close to what Ohio State's spending. I think that their expenditures were somewhere around $195 million. They have a revenue problem. They don't make money. They don't know how to monetize whatever the hell's going on up there. And
JP, they got $60 million just from being in the Big Ten.
Sure they did.
$10 million from the bowl bonuses.
Yeah, and that's just about it for them.
That's $70 million. Do the math. That's $50 million that they're making on their own.
They're looking in the couch cushions right now for a little bit extra money. And so a couple of years ago when Ohio State was running a deficit, one of the things that you could say is, of course, the expenses are going to be high to compete at the level that they want to in football, basketball, and 34 other sports, right? Like it's just going to cost a lot. But Ross knows how to make money, right? Like they know how to leverage the block O. They know how to monetize different revenue channels. And that's the thing that a lot of these other schools are struggling with. Everybody's going to have to spend, especially in this era. Can you find creative ways to make more money? Can you get donors more involved? This was a record year in terms of donations to the athletic department as well. And that's the difference between a place like Ohio State and a lot of these other schools that just can't find the money.
I mean, it's crazy that we're talking about Rutgers and the fact that it's $196 million that they spent. Ohio State spent what was the number? What was the number?
$320 million?
$320 million.
Yeah.
Rutgers spent $196. So already, I mean, you're $125 million more than what they are. They made $120. Ohio State made $336. You are $216 million more dollars in the revenue than what another Big Ten program is. So when we have these discussions about renewing TV contracts and a tiered system about Ohio State and Michigan, Penn State, whoever the big dogs are, about them wanting more money, that's the first thing that they point to right there. Right there. That's it.
It's one of the wild things. So it's, to me, I've always been interested in that conversation where it's like, oh, Rutgers, whatever. They're spending, but they're not even spending to a level where they can be competitive because they just can't make enough money back.
And I don't blame them for that.
Well, that's how you stay in a place like that. And on the flip side, it's why Ohio State has not dipped, right? Because you're going to spend the money.
Yeah.
And people are writing
Charge
checks.
it to winning. One person famously said that.
Oh, yeah. Old Bobby Carpenter.
And Anthony Schlegel. I don't know if that was a Schleg's original or
I have no idea.
I think that was a Schleg's original.
Was it a Schleg's original? So he's charging it to winning over at the Woody now, huh?
I think he is.
Oh, yeah.
How you feeling about that?
I love it.
I
I
do
love
too.
it.
We can ask Mike about that, too, coming up at 7:30.
I hope Mike has a good Schleg story.
I bet he has plenty. I'm guessing he does. Also, I saw this earlier today. If you were wondering if you were, in on the early betting markets for Ohio State versus Texas week 2 of the season, Buckeyes 2.5-point underdogs against Texas week number 2 when they go down there to Austin. Home field usually worth 3 points.
Sure.
I think naturally when you're talking about betting, that's not really a surprise to me, though. I mean, you're going down there. It's year number 2 of Arch. It's year number 2 of Julian. You got them close.
Sure.
In Columbus, first game of the season last year. That's not a big surprise to me.
I always liked being an underdog, and we weren't often the underdog. We never lost as underdogs either, though. That's something that you can really stew on for an off season. You can even if the line changes when it gets closer to the game, you can just be like, nope, they never believed in us.
Yeah.
Kirby did that the whole year en route to a championship.
I think he still does.
They said we were gonna go 5-7. Nobody ever said that.
Nobody's saying that.
Disrespect is something that plays in the locker room.
I know, right? Is that the number one thing?
For a lot of guys, yes. So Urban used to do this thing. How do you motivate guys? You do it through love. You do it through hate, right? Like love is a stronger motivator than hate is, yada, yada, yada. So you want to hate something, whatever the case is. I'm a big hater. I hate 24/7, 365. So I'm always motivated by that. And as such, I take disrespect and I internalize it.
What are you hating on today? What's got you bothered today? What's got you fired up?
So I mentioned this earlier in the week when I was filling in on Bishop and Friends, but I have a neighbor, and the kids have not been to school all week up in Olentangy land, but I have a neighbor, regardless of the weather, who drives their kid to the bus stop, which is like 3 or 4 houses down, and they sit in the car until the bus pulls up. Then little Jimmy takes 7 steps to get on the bus. What are we doing to the youth of America?
Let me ask you this question. If you're that parent driving your child to the bus stop, you already do the whole song and dance to get your kid in the car.
Yeah,
drive him to school.
Drive him to school.
Drive him to school,
Yes.
or just make him walk,
Right.
and then toughen up as a good Midwesterner.
You know, the drive him to school is kind of the conclusion that I got to.
Yeah.
If you want to do that thing, but to drive them to the bus stop and sit there in the climate-controlled car until the bus comes around,
Soft.
what are we doing to the youth?
Yeah, it's soft. Especially here. Do that stuff in the South and the West. It's fine. It's acceptable.
Bothering me. It's bothering me.
You can't do that in Ohio. Ryan Day, he alluded to what he wants in a new offensive coordinator at Ohio State. You're going to hear from him next. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
We used to have a billboard with our host's face on it, but only ugly people work here now.
You mama say you ugly, hey!
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Got this. Breathe. You got this. You got this.
In the moments that truly matter, what do? Rise to the occasion. Ohio Health. It's time.
Your child's oral health milestones matter. By age 1, see a pediatric dentist to establish good oral health habits. At 7, see an orthodontist to check your child's bite, teeth, and jaws. Around 15, visit an oral and maxillofacial surgeon to have your child's wisdom teeth examined. Remember, milestones met, healthy teeth set. Visit milestonesmet.org.
Hey, Ohio State fans! Next time that snack craving hits, Burger King has you covered with the O-Fry-O bundle. You get a medium fry, 8-piece chicken fries, 8-piece mozzarella fries, and an 8-piece chicken nuggets, all for just $10. It's perfect snack fuel for one, wherever and whenever you're cheering on the scarlet and gray. At BK, have it your way. You rule! Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Tax extra.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, 2-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance is prepared for what's next and protects what matters most to you. With independent insurance agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova Insurance is an easy win for your peace of mind. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you.
Experience Buckeye Game Day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
From the first whistle to the final play, being a Buckeye fan calls for commitment and support. Nature Made vitamins are your winning play. From the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand, Nature Made is made to care for fans on game day and every day, so you can go all in on big wins, tough losses, and still show up for your team every time. Nature Made, proud vitamin and supplement sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
It's time for Super Bowl 60. And since we're the official radio home of the Super Bowl, we can say Super Bowl and not big game. So we're going to say Super Bowl a lot. Seahawks and Patriots in the Super Bowl, Sunday, February 8th, here on The Fan.
Attention Columbus. Town Properties just clinched the title of the largest residential property manager in Columbus, thanks to the Columbus Business Journal. With pride, we oversee 25,000 plus households in the Columbus metro area, ensuring fantastic places to call home. Whether you're on the hunt for an exceptional living space, a top-notch association management company, or a property manager for your multifamily portfolio, visit our website at town.properties.com and let us elevate your living experience. Town Properties, always managing great places to live.
They're trained. They're prepared.
Let's do it.
They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Hey there, Central Ohio. I'm 10 Weather Impact meteorologist Michael Behrens with your latest forecast. We're looking at bitter cold air again tonight, temperature dropping to -6. A 10 TV Weather Impact Alert Day remains in place for early Saturday due to the cold. Mix of sun and clouds Saturday, highs in the teens. We're back down near 0 Saturday night into early Sunday with another alert day in place near 20 with sunshine Sunday. That's your latest 10 Weather Impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
Someone out there probably thinks we spend too much time talking about the Buckeyes. Please tell someone that they're stupid. You're listening to the Buckeye Show.
Hey, now with our guy Joshua Perry tonight, I want to let you know that we here on the Buckeye Show, brought to you by our good friends over at Care Source and United Healthcare. Michael Bennett, Joshua, your former teammate, coming up here at 7:30. Excited to get to chat to Mike.
Old lawyer.
Yeah, he is a lawyer. Might be crashing out on some people, but he is. Jeremiah said on X, Joshua, could you please have Mike Bennett tell his side of the story about having the Illabuck in his basement for a year without anyone knowing about it? I'm also excited to hear that side of the story, because I did live with Mike for 2 years, and I don't remember the Illabuck being in our house.
This is what was...
I don't know if it was there.
How I recall it. Now, full disclosure, I played linebacker for many years. I got mashed potatoes up here. Okay. So I could have mixed up some players in this. So it'd be great to hear the lawyer his way out of that one.
Yeah, I think we will. I think we'll hear that. So he's coming up at 7:30.
He's going to say, I plead the fifth.
Which he might. But again,
he might come in with the full defense.
He possibly could. Again, I lived there for a couple of years. I don't remember much. It was spotty memory at best from living in that house. But we'll check it in.
What are you getting at?
Nothing. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. He's coming up at 7:30. Excited to talk to him. Here was Ryan Day a little bit earlier, right on these airwaves. Adam King was tweeting this whole thing out, and people were asking him, like, where were you getting these quotes from Ryan Day? He hasn't spoke since New Year's Eve night. The Ryan Day show just happened, and he was talking about all kinds of different stuff that we haven't heard from him in about a month's time. Here was him talking about finding an offensive coordinator, in which you'll notice he was very good about not naming anybody.
So where were we going with the offense here? And, Brian did a great job last year, but coming out of the season, felt like, okay, with him leaving, do we want to elevate somebody within the room? And thought long and hard about that because I really have a lot of respect for the guys in that room, and I feel like, Keenan is right there. I mean, he has had opportunities to go other places. He's been loyal. Billy and Tyler both have opportunities to go other places, but they're loyal as well. And so it's a good group of guys. But I just felt like going into this season in particular, we needed somebody with some play calling experience that really could kind of take over that room and allow me to kind of step back. Sort of, a couple of years ago with Chip, it was that way. And then also, mentor the guys in a room so that, if there is another transition down the road, those guys would be, ready to really take that over. And so, as you imagine, looked at a lot of different guys. And, for me, wanted to have somebody, again, that had been a play caller at a high level, had been a head coach. Those are not that it was a prerequisite, but those are the kind of things you're looking for. But then also find somebody that really wants to be here, and that's the thing you really work to find, and then whatever makes sense in terms of contracts and all those things. And I think we've hit a home run here when you look at all the different things. And I can't get into the details of the background and all that. I think I will at some other point, but I think it's easy to see when you talk to people who know football. I've asked a lot of people, and you do your background checks of, people that have worked with them, played for these guys. I think, I just got so many text messages that, hey, man, like, what a great hire and all those things. So we're very, very excited. And even a short period of time, you can already see, some of the connections that are being made here.
Now, listen, I don't want to put one and one together to make two. But when he's talking about bringing in a guy with former offensive coordinator play calling capabilities, and that's something that he's done at the next level, and also being a head coach, I have to infer, and again, this is my words, it's not Ryan Day. If you listen to that show, he didn't name names. I would have to think that he's talking about Arthur Smith. That's from my opinion. I'm not saying it's fact. Nothing has been announced yet.
It was hilarious.
But he did a really good job.
A ton of credit to him for getting through that whole thing without actually naming names. And he got kind of close at one point.
He did.
To being like the guy. He's like, no, these guys that we've looked at.
The dudes.
Have these qualities. Yeah. The other thing that I really appreciated from that quote was, guys who know ball are excited about this. Like, that was a direct call out to everybody who's doing the armchair quarterback thing. If you know ball, you like the rumored hire. If you don't know ball, you're on Twitter complaining.
Well, we did this same thing with the Matt Patricia hire.
Yeah.
And if you were one to complain about it or you were one to be excited about it, boy, did you get a great experience this year with Matt Patricia calling plays for this Ohio State defense.
I mean, the flip side of it, too, was like everybody thought it was a home run that Brian Hartline got elevated to offensive coordinator. And by the end of the season, I think there were a lot of people who were very glad that he was moving on to be the head coach at South Florida. Like, we're not in the room. We
have no clue what goes on in there.
We don't know as much as those guys know. Ryan Day is the head coach for a reason. It's not because he knows less ball than some guy on Twitter.
Are you sure about that?
I mean, if you ask the people out there, that's what they would tell you.
They talk with a lot of confidence.
Well, now that's half of the battle.
Yeah, you're right.
That is half of the battle.
Say anything with confidence. And Uncle Bo, I believe, says you're going to be proven right 100 times out of 100. Say anything with confidence. You're going to be fine. He did name names, Cortez Hankton being hired as wide receivers coach. And here is what persuaded him to hire Cortez Hankton, and I thought this was really good from Ryan Day.
When Brian took the South Florida job, one of the things we wanted to do was make sure that we replaced somebody with a really good coach. And Cortez is somebody that not only made an impact on some of the guys that are already here in the recruiting process, but he's coached some really high-end guys. And it doesn't take long for you to spend some time with him to realize just how intelligent he is, how much he relates well to the players. And so when he came up, in conversations, we looked at, as you can imagine, we looked at everybody in the country. When we brought him on a visit, we kind of had him go in the room with some of the receivers, and by the end, they got out of the meeting, they were all nodding their head like, this is our guy. And I think it's important for them to have some ownership with that. So he's off to a good start. So that was an important part of it.
Listen, we can all talk about what we thought about Brian Hartline as a play caller and being elevated back to offensive coordinator. No, it didn't go great in his first year, and then the second year kind of had Chip Kelly there, who we all knew was calling plays. Third year, the spotlight was on him. We could talk about maybe third and fourth down and short yardage being more that you wanted from that. Goal line, red zone efficiency, more that you wanted. Now, there will be a lot of interested eyes watching what South Florida does this year here in Columbus to see what Brian Hartline does. The one thing that you could say about Brian Hartline for certain is that he brought in an elite level of wide receivers.
Yes.
And continued that level of wide receiver production of unlike what we've seen ever before in college football. And JP, it got better and better and better each year, which didn't even make sense. Like when Marvin left, it's like, he can't get better than what that was. And then Jeremiah Smith showed up on the scene. You're like, whoa, how does that happen? Like, that's freakish. That guy's an alien. I don't understand. Marvin put together two of the best years we've ever seen at Ohio State. And then in walks this guy named JJ. It's like, Marvin, I don't even.
You forget about him, which is crazy.
What did he even do?
Yeah, it's wild. And so Cortez Hankton obviously has big shoes to fill, and people have their eyes on his position group. And that's another hire where I think a lot of the people on Twitter were like, oh, the old fan bases don't like him. The Georgia people are laughing and the LSU people are laughing. And I tend to trust that Ryan Day would be able to identify a guy who can coach and develop wide receivers. The thing that stood out there was the idea of him bringing the wideouts in and meeting with Cortez and getting a feel from them. The idea that he wants them to have a little bit of ownership over that room. It's something that we see professional organizations do when they have a big time guy, right? Like
we just saw it with Josh Allen, the head coach, right?
That's the deal, right? Like the quarterback's kind of there if he's big time guy. I would say Jeremiah is one of those guys where
I would definitely say
I know he's only got one more year unless he wants to stay around. He's got to feel comfortable with the guy who's going to be in charge of his last year of development.
And I think that if there's one thing you could say about Ryan Day is that he's done really well at hiring coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the one thing, especially with the Matt Patricia hire. And then we'll see with Cortez Hankton and with maybe or maybe not Arthur Smith. I don't know. He didn't name names, but again, that's being what's reported.
Well, he said he could get into it down the road.
Yeah, which I would expect down the road. Arthur Smith's going to be named offensive coordinator for Ohio State. Again, that's my thoughts. Not necessarily his words. Joshua Perry, your former teammate, now lawyer to the stars, Esquire. Michael Bennett, he's going to join us coming up here in 2 minutes. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
At ADP, we know you want your landscape business to succeed, but we don't know anything about landscaping. ADP only knows how to handle the business of your small business. So if ADP focuses on the payroll and the HR, while you focus on the land and the scaping, success should follow. Just don't expect us to know all about Kentucky bluegrass, zero-turn cutting, or what to do with a woodchuck. That's for you to figure out. Let ADP help your small business focus on the part of the business you're good at. ADP for small business.
Wrinkles, gray hair, and hearing loss are common signs of getting older. But being short of breath, having tightness in your chest, coughing, and wheezing are not. If you are experiencing these symptoms, you may be one of the millions of people who are living with a condition called COPD but don't know it. Early diagnosis and treatment can add years of better breathing to your life. For more information, talk to your doctor and visit copdfoundation.org today.
Buckeye Nation, join us on April 12th at the 2026 Ohio State 4-Miler, presented by Union Home Mortgage, the Ohio Beef Council, and Raising Cane's. This is your chance to run down a tunnel and finish on the 50-yard line at Ohio Stadium. You can also get access to the home locker room and meet some of your favorite Buckeye student athletes. A portion of the proceeds benefit the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer. This is something you won't want to miss. Register today at ohiostateformiler.com. Go Bucks!
Around here, it's all-wheel drive all year round, and Toyota has more all-wheel drive choices than anyone. Now through February 2nd, you can get $5,000 customer cash on remaining new 25 Tundras, or get 0.99 APR financing on Tundra plus $1,000 TFS APR cash. With approved credit through TFS, excludes TRD Pro. APR cash must be applied to deal. For complete details, go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
The Buckeye Show is sponsored by CareSource, proud to be your home for Ohio State Athletics. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
We here at The Fan believe there's no such thing as too much Ohio State coverage. You're locked in to The Buckeye Show.
Hey, now, my guy Joshua Perry tonight. Right now, we head out to the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Check with JP's former teammate, 2014 national champion. He is Michael Bennett. Mike, what's happening? How's your week been? How's law going?
Gentlemen, how are we doing?
Doing
Law's
great.
been good. Law's been good. It was a busy week, closing a deal. Things are going well.
I heard you were ready to crash out, though, is what I was told. It's hard being a defensive player out in the real world, is what I'm hearing.
Oh, there's rumors, live, erroneous. No, my crash out days are done, JP. That was, I tried to reserve that for college.
What about when you play PvP video games? Do you still reserve time to crash out on that?
Beamer, you telling my secrets, man? Yeah, I don't handle PvP video games very well. Those hit a nerve. I can't do them. I can't handle them.
All right, so I might have told a secret that could be erroneous, could be incorrect. So
we're spilling everybody's secrets.
We got to get to the bottom of this. So as
right.
I recall, the story is being told that the Illabuck disappeared, in that it was of your doing, and it ended up in your basement. So fill in the gaps there. Am I just completely off? Did I misremember that?
What?
That's what I was told.
Wait, I took the Illabuck?
And it ended up in your basement.
No. Who told you that?
Well, I'm not gonna now. I'm not gonna get myself into any more trouble dropping more names. So I'm just gonna leave it there.
Give me your sources.
I will sidebar the sources.
Right hand to God, I do not remember taking the Illabuck. I wish I did. Beamer, you have pictures of that?
Michael, listen, I told JP last segment, I said, I know that I had a great time in college and that some memories are fuzzier than others. But if the Illabuck was living in our basement for a year or 2 years, I would have remembered it. And so to your point, the Illabuck once showed up at our house and then it disappeared as it should. But it never lived there unless once our other roommates took it and hid it somewhere. I have to acquit you of all wrongdoings in that.
When was the Illabuck at our house? I don't even remember that.
See, so there's some truth.
Hey, there's a lot going on in college, dodging bullets and everything. So I'm not going to just outright say that never happened, but I have no recollection of having the Illabuck at our house. Is it still gone?
Well, no, it ended up returning. I think it just disappeared in the time where nobody was talking about the trophy, which is the whole year in between games. It was gone. But it arrived when it needed to.
We definitely got into some hijinks in college, but I don't know about the Illabuck.
Hijinks. All right, so
good one.
I'll own that. I'll chalk it up to mashed potatoes up top, early onset of a little CTE maybe. We'll just call it a day.
Let's run with that. That's a good story. I'll claim that. That. Yeah, we took the Illabuck. What are you going to do about it?
Well, nothing now, of course.
I believe they call that statute of limitations, if my legal terms is correct.
Statute of limitations, right.
What would the lawyer have to say about that? What is the statute of limitations on something like that?
I have to look that one up.
Mike, what do you make of everything going on with NIL in college and everything going to law firms and contract deals, like just the state of NIL right now, not even in college football, but college basketball, like all over the place. I mean, I feel like all we're reading is contract law, basically, which I know is something that you specialize in.
I was going to say it's good for people in my industry, but I think it's a mess for college athletics. I was actually talking to a coworker about it today, that it's just, you've got guys who are jumping around every year. You've got, crazy money flowing through college athletics. And I've always been a proponent of players getting paid. But there have to be some guidelines. There have to be some normalcy to this, because apparently these kids are still students. So, at some point that has to start factoring into the equation. I believe that the contracts are going to start figuring themselves out. It's the whole free market approach, right? Like, eventually, these people who are giving an 18-year-old $4 million who does not produce are probably going to start looking at contracts, or the kid leaves in a year. They're probably going to start looking at contracts a little bit closer and saying, all right, how do we recoup our money? How do we actually get our investment back? And so I think that's just going to be getting figured out over time. But I think right now it's the Wild West. There was no real precedent for the contracts that were being signed. So good for the kids who have been able to sign some just lucrative contracts in the last 5 years. But I think that's going to start figuring itself out.
It feels like it has to balance out and has to reset. It's at a fever pitch right now. I want to ask you, though, we played the sound a little bit earlier from Ryan Day talking about an unnamed offensive coordinator that we can probably assume is Arthur Smith. When you saw the reports of that hire, what was your initial reaction? What do you think about it?
I trust Ryan Day. You know, I don't know how to evaluate talent too much, but he has done a great job bringing talent in from the coaching level. JP, you know that I've always said that one of Urban's best qualities was his ability to build a coaching staff. Mm-hmm. And we were lucky when we were there that we had just an all-star coaching staff. And I think Coach Day has been able to build on that. And he just keeps bringing in good talent. So I think Coach Smith will be another great addition. You know, obviously we have some stuff to shore up on the offense, but I feel good about it.
Here's Michael Bennett with us here on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Let's take that rumor, shall we, that Arthur Smith is actually going to be the offensive coordinator here at Ohio State. What Ryan Day was saying in our last hour, Michael, he didn't name names, but it certainly sounded like someone of the status that Arthur Smith possesses, called plays in the NFL, also an NFL head coach formerly. So you bring him in, a former NFL head coach, to run your offense. Matt Patricia, that we know, who is still the Ohio State defensive coordinator. You're talking about both coordinators being former NFL head coaches. If you are either in the transfer portal or if you are, a high school recruit, how much does that do for your program, knowing that not only the head of your university, being Ryan Day, has the prowess that he has and a national champion, one of the highest win percentages of all time across the history of college football, but now both of your coordinators also bring years and years and years of NFL experience at the head coach level, which I don't know if any other program in America can claim that.
Yeah, I've never seen that before. I know that it was an enormous benefit to have Coach Vrabel on our coaching staff. We had so many good coaches, but to have that NFL experience, for him to be able to, watch film with you and say, you can get away with this here, but when you go to the next level, that's not going to fly. Or to break down film the way NFL coaches break down film. That's all they do. They get into the nitty gritty of it. They look at all of the percentages. They look at it with a fine-tooth comb. And once again, that's not to say, college football coaches are somehow lesser than, but they look at it in a different way. So you bring in, and you mentioned these guys have head coach experience. Yeah. That means the leadership is there, the ability to galvanize guys and motivate them and speak to them on a whole different level. That's what you need for it to be a head coach. So to have those guys at the coordinator position in college and have these recruits and younger players developing underneath that kind of tutelage, you would think a kid who wants to go to the NFL, there's only one real option for him. And that would have to be Ohio State.
Mike, let me ask you this question too, and Joshua, you can follow up as well. I mean, the difference from being an NFL head coach to a coordinator in college is what? Because you guys have both experienced NFL time. I mean, you're in a locker room full of grown men. Now we're kind of getting that way in college football. I mean, these guys are being paid. I know that they're student athletes, but still, like, this is a job for them where they're making money. And so maybe it is becoming more so NFL light than what it ever has before. But taking a step down from the NFL level and coaching college, like, what is the difference in that level of being coached at the level that these guys coming down from the NFL are used to?
That's a good question, Beamer. I think.
Thank you.
I know put it on the wall. Put the gold star on the wall. I think a lot of it is probably, I would have to say, you probably get a little less media attention, and you probably have a little, obviously less responsibilities, because as a head coach, everything flows through you. The buck stops at you. But as a coordinator, you've got to answer for some stuff. You've got to go to the press conferences and everything. But you get to be more just football focused rather than program focused. Coach Day he's got so many plates in the air, and he juggles them well, so you can't even tell how many he's working with right now. But there's so much more to a head coach than just the football aspect. But as a coordinator, you get to really hone in on football, and I would assume that so many of these guys who get to such high levels in the NFL and in college football, they do it because they love football. And so being a coordinator or being even an assistant coach, a position coach, you get to just focus in on football, focus in on the guys in your room, and really get into the X's and O's of it. I would assume that would be pretty fun. Going from, I know that there's the ego to it. I know there's the paycheck to it that being a head coach in the NFL brings, but not having to worry too much about all of the media and all of the organization and all of this other stuff, and being able to just look at the guys in your room and be like, let's go play some football. Let's get into the X's and O's. And then on top of that, you get to develop young men. I know I have a lot of former teammates who really enjoy high school football because you're having a positive impact on young men during their development. And when you're in the NFL, you might have the opportunity to impact young men and, instill some kind of values or whatever. But a lot of those guys, they're not there for that, right? They're there to make some money and chase the Hall of Fame and all that kind of stuff. But in college, you're still, as a young man, you're still forming your values and solidifying your values. And that can be really, really rewarding for people to try to give back in that way.
Yeah, I mean, to piggyback off of that, I'm glad you mentioned the status of it, because I do think there's an ego adjustment from being a NFL head coach to a collegiate coordinator. But the way that Ryan Day is trying to set this thing up, he's trying to create a head coach of the offense and a head coach of the defense, and guys that have ownership over their sides of the ball, guys that can dive full into scheme because they're not going to be asked to recruit off campus. I think it's actually a really good approach in this new age of getting quality coaches in and then letting them build back their resume. Like Matt Patricia looks like a genius right now, and I'm sure Arthur Smith is going to as well, because they have the opportunity to dial in on their job and to work with really talented players.
I agree, JP. And the ego thing that's no small variable. Like, there are a lot of people who cannot put their ego away, especially in football. I'm sure outside of football we run into the same things, but I know that it takes. I don't even know what the word is, but it takes somebody who's able to humble themselves a little bit to go from head coach of the NFL to coordinator. And I think it speaks a lot to these guys like Matt Patricia and Arthur, who, they love ball. They love football. And like you said, it gives them an opportunity to rehabilitate, get into the X's and O's, and get to know the up-and-coming playmakers who will be going to the NFL.
Hey, Mike, before we get you out of here, Anthony Schlegel back as assistant strength and conditioning coach at Ohio State. JP was talking about some of his Schleg stories. Do you have one for us that stands above the rest for you? Keep it safe for work. We are on a 16-second delay, so just want to let you know that.
Schlegs, man. He's I have a good one. No, I'm not going to tell that one. I'll tell a different one. We're bench press. I know JP's got all these. Schlegs is a hype man, right? The guy has endless energy. And so before bench press and before squats and deadlifts or whatever, everybody, especially like a big bench press or a big deadlift or whatever, Schlegs is the one who's like getting in your face and yelling at you and smacking you and that kind of stuff. It gets everybody hyped up, gets the blood flowing. But I remember Nick Vanette getting down ready to do a PR on bench. I don't remember how much it was, but bench was never Nick's strong suit. And
Nick didn't have pecs.
I don't want to give. Yeah, he got torched for that a couple times, but he was ready to put some real weight on the bar. And so when you do bench press to hype you up, Schlegs would like smack your ribs when you're on the bench. which, full disclosure, sucks. It is not like, it does not hype you up. It just hurts. But like, it was a big deal that Nick was about to move this weight, and Schlegs gets over him. Everybody's yelling. Everybody's crowding around. And Nick's like, come on, Schlegs, give me one. Man, Schlegs puts his hands above his head, comes down with both hands on Nick's ribs, and Nick sits up. He's like, hey, man, come on. Hey, and he had these biggest welts on his ribs for the next 3 days. He moved the weight, but it just, the reaction when he's just trying to hype him up, and Nick sits up and turns around and looks at Schlegs like, hey, man, that was a lot.
Everybody wants to be hyped up, and not that much, Coach. Michael, always appreciate the time. Thanks for hopping on with us. Enjoy the yellow buck that you stole, and we'll check in again soon, okay?
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. Go Bucks.
There he goes, Michael Bennett with us here on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. We've got a first in college football. Maybe we'll do that in the Pulse coming up next. It's the Buckeye Show on the Fan.
We're known for three things: games, conversation, and common man yelling about things only he cares about. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Enjoy more ways to save at Kroger, like low prices in every aisle. And you can clip and save more with digital coupons in the Kroger app. Plus, you can earn fuel points to save up to $1 per gallon at the pump. So it's always easy to save big. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Fuel restrictions apply. See site for details.
During our BOGO sale, select boneless pork tenderloin, General Mills cereal, Sargento cheese, and more are buy one, get one free with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Spectrum TV fixed TV and combined all your favorite sports streaming apps with live TV.
32, Blue 32, hot hype. It's only more Hail Marys.
It's only more bottom of the ninth magic.
It's only more slow motion replays.
It's only getting all the sports with over $100 worth of streaming apps like ESPN, Fox One, Tennis Channel, Peacock, and more, included with live TV at no extra cost. It's only the way TV should be. It's only everything. Learn more at SpectrumTV.com.
I'm John Morgan. There are many reasons to hire Morgan & Morgan for your injury case. Reason number 3. First, all lawyers are not the same. If my family had an injury case and I couldn't hire us, there are only about 3 to 4% of the lawyers out there that I would hire. And here's why. Most of them rarely, if ever, go to trial. They just take the last best offer. Hell, you can do that yourself. Do this. If you're looking for a lawyer, Google Morgan & Morgan results and see what comes up. It may shock you. Then Google the firm you're thinking of hiring and do the same. That may shock you as well. We became the largest injury firm in the world for a reason. We won a lot. $30 billion and counting. Morgan & Morgan, or thepeople.com. Who would I hire? I'd hire us.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
All your favorite and least favorite fan shows are available wherever you get your podcasts. Just type in 971 The Fan to the search bar and hit that subscribe button. It's free.
We're the land of the free and the home of the sunburnt, freckled fat guy.
Do it now.
When it comes to your cancer diagnosis, the choice for your care is clear.
And when you choose the James at Ohio State,
you're opting for care from a highly specialized team dedicated to treating one type of cancer, yours.
A team that studies the unique makeup of your disease to develop a personalized treatment plan.
You're choosing our region's only comprehensive cancer center designated by the National Cancer Institute.
For your cancer care, the choice is clear. The James at Ohio State.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium, presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
It's game day at Raising Cane's. If you want to order like a Buckeye, it's the action off the field you need to focus on. The only play you're running is chicken. So what combo are you picking? Make it a perfect season. We've got tailgates of hand-battered, cooked-to-order chicken fingers and cane sauce. And jugs of freshly made tea and lemonade. All available to order online or on our app. This season is about to be unbeatable. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love. Proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Hosting a passionate crew of Buckeye fans? Revamp your rec room for an epic watch party with power reclining sofas, massaging recliners, entertainment centers, and coffee tables from Bob's. They even have sofas with drop-down tables for snacks and bevs. Shop in-store or online to score big on an incredible game day setup at Bob's everyday low prices. Bob's Discount Furniture, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Columbus, Worthington, Air, and Bryant. Doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
It's time for the College Football Pulse on the Buckeye Show.
Sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Coming up here at 8 o'clock, we'll get you out to Chicago. Jackets taking on the Blackhawks this evening, 8:30. We got the face-off coming up for you. Reimer, I believe we have a first of its kind investigation in college football. Can you fill us in on the details?
Yes. So this was reported by The Athletic. The College Sports Commission is investigating an LSU athlete for potential NIL rules violation. Shocker. Lane Kiffin shows up at LSU, and we've already got something here with NIL going on. But under terms of the landmark House settlement, which received final approval last summer and paved the way for the CSC's launched third-party NIL deals worth more than $600 must be reported to the NIL Go Clearinghouse. The investigation into the LSU athletes centers on potential unreported compensation.
Yeah, there was obviously a quarterback that decided not to join them, who was still on the roster and under contract for a Big Ten team. That Big Ten team being Washington, that quarterback being DeMond Williams. I wonder if this has anything to do with that. Now, if you get into the whole tampering business, which I know that the CSC is going to be like the punitive leg, basically, of the NCAA. So the NCAA has been neutered, and the CSC is the ones that's now going to be...
The enforcement arm.
Yes, the enforcement arm. Like, they're going to be the ones who are investigating into this. What happens if you say no? Shove off. I'm not listening to you.
That's what Texas Tech's trying to do.
And we're going to find out, because I just saw Ross Dellinger, too, of Yahoo, say several programs, at least one in the Big Ten, one in the Big 12, in addition to LSU, have received letters of inquiry from the CSC over the last few weeks over athletes not reporting NIL deals.
So they send the letter to inquire, and you just don't respond. Then what?
I didn't get it. I didn't get the letter. Sorry.
It's an intriguing thing because they were set up to monitor teams trying to circumvent the cap. And the way that you do that is by just funneling money to the athletes.
Money laundered.
Yeah, well, essentially.
Yeah.
Which some people think that this thing could end up actually being illegal to some degree. That's neither here nor there.
That would be so perfect, though, in this reality of college sports.
It would be. But the idea is, like, if you sign an NIL deal that's outside of the rev share, then it would have to serve a business function. There would have to be a purpose, and you would have to be able to support the amount of money in that deal based off of whatever it is.
Fair market value, right?
Right. But all these teams, like, there's no way Sam Levitt's worth $5 or $6 million. I've watched the guy play.
Yeah.
I think he's good. He ain't a $6 million guy to me.
No.
So there's no way to justify it, and that's why these letters are coming out.
Was DeMond Williams going to be a $7 million guy to you?
He ain't a $7 million guy, I can tell you that.
And I'll tell you one thing. I don't know what Jeremiah's number is. Whatever it is, worth it, though.
Yeah, well.
Whatever that guy's getting paid this year by Ohio State, NIL Go, whoever, like boosters from Ohio State, you can point to that guy and say, hey, whatever the dollar amount is, that's a guy who's actually worth it.
He's doing legit ad campaigns, though. I mean, he's
Red Bull
doing stuff with national brands. Like, that's what this whole thing was supposed to be, is for a guy like Jeremiah to make a ton of money. Go call Red Bull. Go call Dick's House of Sports and go do deals with them. But a lot of these guys, they don't have the motion to get those types of deals done.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Reimer, what else you got for us tonight?
So ESPN's Bill Connolly, he went ahead and predicted what next year's college football playoff would look like. And the teams that get the buys are Indiana is going to be the number one overall.
All right.
And then you got Georgia at number 2, the SEC champ. Texas Tech is 3rd, Notre Dame 4th. USC, he has 5th. And then you got Texas A&M 6th. Ohio State comes in at 7. Miami with Darian Mensah in that whole situation, he has them at 8. And then Oregon 9. Texas is at 10. Oklahoma State at 11. and then Hawaii at 12.
Shout out to the Rainbow Warriors.
Hey, look out for them in March. I'm just telling you right now.
Okay. That's a different sport.
I'm just putting that out there right now. They were mentioned. I want to get that out too.
It's very fair, as we got a minute left to go here on the show. I said this last night on the show with Austin. I'm kind of all in on Illinois again this year. I'm kind of all in on them. I got flayed for my South Carolina take last year, which is entirely correct. But I'm telling you right now.
I was a part of that too, flaming you.
Yeah, I know you were. Rightfully so. The penultimate day of January, I was looking at the schedules. Illinois is going to come here, I think, the 4th week of the season. Other than that, JP, it's kind of winnable for them.
All right.
JP was looking at you like, what are you talking about?
He knows more about the Big Ten than I do.
I'm not going to respond to that.
Yeah.
The team that I thought in this that stood out to me the most was USC. And I'm not sure that they can achieve what's being projected here. But this is the year for them.
Mm-hmm.
They had the recruiting class. They've overhauled the defensive staff once again. Like, it's time to be a winner.
Lincoln, you hear that?
You have to do it if you want to be nationally relevant. Now's the time.
JP, had a great time with you tonight. We'll talk to you again next Wednesday, okay?
Okay.
Everybody, have an awesome evening. We'll get you out to Chicago. Jackets time up next on The Fan.
1, 2, 3. Here at The Fan, it's always football o'clock. Proud to be your home of the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle.